What it is, it's your boy QDZ Double Easy. You just joined another episode all about semis. I know that I have been gone for a little bit, but you know, I've had a lot going on. I had a lot of things I've been taking care of. Not bad, not all bad, not all bad things. Really not any bad, for real, knock on wood. For those of you who are new, I'm just giving you a quick intro. QDZ, your host. I have been an owner-operator running under my own authority for about 4.5 years, maybe 5 years. Can't think off the top of my head, but close to that 5-year mark. Originally came from Landstar. Then I opened up my own carrier, and the rest is pretty much history. This platform is for people that want to learn and know about trucking. Anything that I have to author, I share on this channel, from maintaining your equipment to dealing with brokers and things of the such. Anything trucking right here. So today y'all in for a treat. I briefly touched on this way back when in a video about trucking and AI. So today you guys are going to get a full demonstration, and I'm telling you, you know, this AI stuff is taking over, man, and it's either you're going to get on board with it or you're not going to get on board with it. I had told you guys that I do music on the side, just kind of, you know, I write a lot of songs and things like that, and I've had to incorporate it into my music. And I'm gonna tell you what, I'm glad that I did, because it makes a lot of my process a lot more streamlined and easier. But that's not what you're here for, so we're not going to get into that. But again, AI is taking, you know, the world by storm right now, and you need to get into it. Trucking eventually is going to be involved in it, and in some aspects it already is. I have been using AI to kind of follow the market and to figure out where I want to run my truck and when is the best time to run my truck for different types of freight. So I'm going to show you guys exactly just how I do that, and how it's helping me to stay profitable and whatnot. I can't really get into a whole bunch of showing you anything, but you guys gonna have to listen, because I have my stuff plumbed into my truck, so you can hear how everything works. And I'll show you. I got like 2 tablets that I keep in the truck. One is my primary tablet that I use, that'll have like all my you know, ELD information and stuff like that, and my regular stuff on it. And then I have another one that I use just for whatever, TV, just general stuff. So without further ado, let me jump right into this. So how this works basically is, depending on the situation and time, what's going on for that week, I'll pretty much ask my AI assistant, hey, what's the best market for this right now, and why, and what kind of freight is moving, and based on that information, tell me where I need to go. And of course, I check behind it, but for the most part, it's always accurate. So with that being said, don't always, you know, just take it for what it is, because this AI stuff is still new and it's not always right about everything. But for the most part, it is. And depending on what you're using it for, it's pretty much accurate all the time. So in this case, I'm going to try and do a simple demonstration as to where and how I want to run next week. And we're going to see what the AI comes up with. All right, so give me a second. Let me get some things in order here, and then we will jump into this. All right, I'm going to talk to it, because I just have it all plugged in through my tablets and stuff, so I can just go ahead and do the voice activated. I'm starting a trucking route next week out of Florida, Monday. Can you give me a good route of where I should run and a route back based on profitability and what the market's looking like for dry van freight, and tell me why? Let's see what we get. I'm waiting.
For a trucking route starting out of Florida next Monday, considering the current market trends and profitability for dry van suggested route. Florida to Georgia. Start with a load from a high-volume area in Florida, such as Jacksonville or Miami, where outbound rates are competitive. Atlanta, Georgia, which is experiencing an increase in volumes and rates, making it a lucrative destination for dry van carriers. Georgia to Tennessee. After delivering in Georgia, you can pick up another load bound for Tennessee. Cities like Memphis and Nashville are known for their strong outbound freight rates due to manufacturing and distribution activities. Tennessee back to Florida. On your return to Florida, look for loads that are heading back south. This could complete your round trip, potentially maximizing your revenue on both legs of the journey. The reason for choosing this route is based on several factors.
Now let's tell
High
you
demand.
why.
The selected states are currently experiencing high demand for dry van freight, which can lead to better rates. Seasonal trends. With the summer season approaching, there's an uptick in freight movement, especially in the southeastern states. Economic growth. Despite the overall soft market, there's a slight improvement in demand driven by stable consumer spending. Produce season. Southern states like Florida and Georgia see increased activity during produce season freight opportunities. Remember, market conditions can change rapidly, so it's always best to check the latest freight rates and load availability before finalizing your route. Safe travels.
That was very good. So tell me what the dry van market is looking like and which are some of the best states right now for dry van freight. And tell me why. It's getting it together. There it comes, I believe. There it is. Should be coming on right by now.
The dry van market as of June 2024 is showing signs of improvement with a 2.1% year-over-year increase in loadings, particularly in the food and automotive sectors. Spot rates have shown strength throughout May, although contract rates continue to decline under the pressure of lower spot rates. Here are some of the best states for dry van freight right now. California. With a 27% higher volume and rates up 3 cents per mile, California remains a top state for spot market volume. Texas. It's consistently a top state for all major trailer types, including dry van, due to its high volume of outbound loads. Georgia. The Georgia Ports Authority reported its busiest month ever for automobile shipments, which has positively impacted the dry van space. Illinois. As a central hub, Illinois often sees a high volume of freight movement, making it a strong market for dry van loads. New Jersey. This state also recorded an increase in rates, indicating a robust market for dry van freight. The reasons these states are currently the best for dry van freight include high volume. These states are experiencing high volumes of freight movement, which drives up demand and rates. Economic activity. States with busy ports or significant manufacturing and distribution activities tend to have more freight opportunities. Seasonal trends. With the summer season and produce season in swing, certain states like California, Texas, and Georgia are seeing rate increases and capacity tightening. It's important to keep in mind that freight rates and market conditions can change rapidly, so staying updated with the latest trends is crucial for maximizing profitability. Safe travels on your route.
So what is some of the best running freight right now, considering the market? And I'm looking for like refrigerated flatbed, see what it comes up with. We're waiting.
Considering the current market as of June 2024, some of the best running freight options are influenced by seasonal trends and economic factors. Here's a summary of the key trends. Seasonal produce. With the produce season in full swing, areas like southern and central Florida, southern Texas, and southern California are experiencing rate increases and capacity tightening.
I know this is right.
Increased demand. There's a slightly improved demand environment, driven by increasing imports, restocking efforts, stable consumer spending, and increased manufacturing. Port congestions. Ongoing port congestions continue to drive up ocean rates, which can affect the availability and rates of overland freight as well. Intermodal volumes. Intermodal pricing remains under pressure, but volumes have continued to rise, indicating a potential opportunity for dry van freight as well. These trends suggest that routes connected to areas with high produce yields or significant import activity could be particularly profitable. Additionally, considering the impact of port congestions, routes that avoid these bottlenecks or offer alternative solutions.
So I've noticed that dry van freight has been increasing in rate. Can you tell me why? I told you guys that the rates were coming up, and even this picked that up, or that the rates have been up. So let's see what we got now.
The increase in dry van freight rates can be attributed to several factors. Summer shipping demand. The onset of the summer shipping season has led to a 7.1% increase in outbound tender volumes, which has helped sustain elevated spot rates beyond the Memorial Day holiday period. Stable market capacity. Despite the increase in tender volumes, spot rates have remained stable due to sufficient market capacity. Average spot rates have been 4% to 7% higher year over year. Economic stability. If economic conditions remain stable, the patterns observed in 2019 could guide expectations for the rest of the year, indicating a possible end to the capacity exodus. General rate increases. GRI's carriers have implemented GRIs to address longer voyages, which require more vessels to maintain schedules, resulting in increased expenses for additional fuel and operational costs. Port congestions. Congestion at some ports has also contributed to the increase in rates. These factors combined have created upward pressure on dry van freight rates. It's a complex interplay of supply and demand, operational costs, and market capacity that determines the rates at any given time. Keeping an eye on these trends can help in anticipating changes and making informed decisions in the freight market. Safe travels.
So tell me right now, what is some of the best areas to run refrigerated freight and flatbed freight, and why? For the most profitable. Just thinking about it.
As of June 2024, the best areas to run refrigerated freight and flatbed freight are influenced by various market factors. Here's a breakdown of the current trends. Refrigerated freight. Full truckload FTL services. The FTL service segment holds the largest share in the U.S. refrigerated trucking market, with dedicated FTL services experiencing significant growth. Pharmaceuticals. The pharmaceutical industry is showcasing prominent growth, driving demand for refrigerated trucking services to transport temperature-sensitive products. Food and beverage. This sector, along with agriculture, relies heavily on FTL services for the transportation of perishable goods. Flatbed freight. Construction and industrial goods. The demand for flatbed trucks is often driven by the construction industry and the movement of industrial goods. Key regions. Regions like Iowa, Wisconsin, California, and New York are currently highlighted as key areas for flatbed freight. Port activity. Ports that handle roll-on/roll-off and breakbulk freight, such as Baltimore, have seen a surge in flatbed volume. The profitability in these sectors is due to the robust demand from industries that require large volume shipments of perishable goods, as well as the growth in sectors like pharmaceuticals, which need specialized refrigerated transport. For flatbed freight, the ongoing construction projects and industrial activities contribute to the demand for flatbed transportation. It's important to stay informed about the latest market conditions as they can change rapidly, affecting the best areas to run different types of freight.
I'm going to stop that right there. Now, this is 13 minutes in, guys. But if you really want to know, you're going to watch all the way to the end, right? So, very powerful information, as you've seen in the earlier part of the video, where it actually gave me a route and told me what states to pick up and pick out of to get the most, profit in that margin and in that area. So I'll use that information sometimes, and a lot of times it's spot on. Now, come next week, I'm going to use this tool and I'm going to film it just so you guys can see real time. As I was saying with the, anything, obviously I'm going to check my rates and just check things, but I already know that there's a surge in the rates. I told you guys this in the previous video that there were rates coming up, and whatnot, I can go into more detailed information about the different areas using the AI and having it do the footwork for me about certain areas. Case in point, I'm going to ask about what is the average rates going for, and I'm also going to ask what are the rates looking like coming out of Ohio. So what is the actual common rate for dry van freight, dollar amount, and what are rates looking like, and what are freight looking like coming out of Ohio area, and why? And there's a reason why I always say in the whys, but we'll get into that in a minute. Let's curious to see what this is going to come up with this.
As of June 2024, the common rate for dry van freight is averaging around $1.71 per mile, which is a slight decrease from the previous week's average. This rate is 20 cents per mile lower than last year, but 3 cents per mile higher than the long-term average for this time of year. In May 2024, the average spot rate for a dry van was reported at $2.02 per mile, and the contract rate was about $2.44 per mile. Regarding the freight rates coming out of the Ohio area, the market is experiencing a mix of trends. Increased load volumes. Ohio, being a manufacturing and distribution hub, often sees a high volume of outbound loads, which can drive up rates. Seasonal demand. With the summer season, there's typically an increase in freight movement, which can affect rates positively. Economic factors. The broader economic stability and growth in certain...
I stopped it. Now, that's crazy because I've been telling you guys that the $70s, $80s was the normal rate. And you guys were telling me, people were commenting, no, it's not, no, it's not. And that's exactly what they were before post-pandemic. And this actually said from the week. It's giving me the week, not a month from prior. This is giving me within the week. So this is crazy, but I know that these numbers are right, and they're about averaging, $1.70 to $2 and above, because I'm seeing it. But the other part of this is, here's the interesting part. I can actually find out what states have the most freight coming out versus going in before I even leave. So let's try that, and then we're going to wrap this video up. Okay, so what are the states that have the most freight dry van going in versus coming out, and which states have the most dry van freight coming out versus going in? I said it like that to see if I could trick it up, instead of saying which got the most freight coming out versus truckloads, but I want to see if it can figure it out.
Based on the most recent data, here are the states with the most dry van freight activity. Most outbound dry van freight. Texas. With a significant count of outbound freight loads, Texas leads due to its diverse economy and production of goods ranging from petroleum and coal products to electronics and machinery. California. Known for its large number of railroads, California facilitates intermodal transportation, making it competitive in terms of outbound freight volumes. Georgia. The state's common loads include vehicles, ores, slag, ash, and agricultural products, with seasonal variations like peach and pecan harvests affecting availability. Most inbound dry van freight. Tennessee, North Carolina, and South Carolina. These states have been consistently among the top inbound states since 2020, indicating a strong demand for goods coming into these areas. The balance of inbound and outbound freight is crucial for truckers to minimize empty miles. States with a good balance offer better opportunities for backhauls, which can increase overall profitability for carriers.
So what states have the best balance? I bet you're going to say, I just told you, Carolina. That's the other thing about it. You can talk to it, and it already knows the conversation that we're continuing. I don't have to constantly be like,
the states with the best balance of inbound and outbound dry van freight, according to recent data, are Texas, known for its consistent freight rates due to being both a producer and consumer of various goods. It's a top state for outbound loads and has a diverse economy that includes petroleum, coal products, electronics, chemicals, machinery, and agricultural products.
Now, what I see now on here is
with a
Illinois
large
and
number of
Ohio,
railroads
which you
facilitating
didn't give me
intermodal
the first time.
transportation. California is competitive in terms of outbound freight volumes. It moves a variety of products, including aircraft parts, electric vehicles, raw diamonds, telecommunications equipment, and more. Georgia. Common loads include vehicles, ores, slag, ash, beverages, spirits, vinegar, iron and steel, pharmaceuticals, and fruits and nuts. Georgia's freight rates can fluctuate during its peach, pecan, and peanut growing seasons. Illinois. Likely to find loads of light petroleum oils, heavy trucks, pharmaceuticals, telecommunications equipment, cell phones, aircraft components, and corn. Its central location and large population make it economical for freight shipping. Ohio. Most common loads include aircraft parts, soybeans, mid-sized automobiles, large automobiles, motor vehicle parts, engines, and small automobiles. Ohio's central location and large industrial markets make shipping affordable. These states have a strong demand for both inbound and outbound freight, which helps ensure that truckers can find loads for their return trips, minimizing empty miles and maximizing profitability.
And with that, that's just the tip of the iceberg of where we are with AI and using AI in trucking. So I'm going to leave that there. If this is something you guys are interested in seeing more of, let me know. But this is what I do. And this is how I've been, being able to figure out where I wanted to be and things like that. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Next week, we're going to definitely be using this to run the truck pretty much. And based off that information, we're going to see how it does. I did it once already and I talked about it in another video, but I really didn't get into detail. And it was pretty good on getting me in the areas where I didn't have to worry about being messed up. But, I've been doing it long enough to know where I'm going, I ain't going, or what I'm going to do. And I can kind of tailor it down. Like, there are so many ways that you can actually write your own coding into the AI so that it can be more precise. I'd have to do a whole nother video on that. Like, you could literally be like, when you give it an instruction, it can use gathered information, knowing where you run a run. Like, I can actually tailor it down. Like, all right, I'm going out this week, give me a route plan. It'll already know where I'm leaving from. I can put it in there that it's going to assume I'm leaving from Georgia or Florida and in a certain area of Georgia and Florida. So I don't have to say I'm leaving from Jacksonville. I can say I'm leaving, give me a route back home. 3 to 4 loads. Where can I pick up? Blase. And it'll be pretty much spot on. But I have to get into that to show you guys that. So it's your boy QDeezy, the double the easy. Another episode about semis. I'm out of here. Peace out.